DKU TV.
"12 molts in 4 days, 4 in 1 day, 3 the next day, 2 the day after that, and 1 each the following 3 days. Many of them are featured here, and a surprise molt as well. This is Dale tonight. Welcome to T-Cloud 15. Start the molts out with Brownie, the Grammostola Ockerti, Choco Goldeny. One of my first tarantulas I ever owned, and I bought her as a half-inch, and she is growing very well. Definitely a she, just based on the growth rate alone, but you can tell here she's very beautiful. This is one of my favorite species in the hobby, and I've been waiting forever for this one to molt. Next up, Indiana, Poecilotheria Fasciata, the Sri Lankan ornamental. This tea is not ever featured because she doesn't eat on camera at all, and doesn't molt often, but she is an unbelievable looking tarantula, especially now as she's finally got her adult colors, and she's also starting to get a little bigger. So now, hopefully with all my puppies, you'll see her more on camera. This one especially, because the Fasciata is one of my favorites. There's a molt there. She is around 3 inches, maybe a little bit over 3 inches. And it's a very sweet looking tea. One of my favorite pokies in the hobby. Next up, we have Ink, a Stromatopelma Ockerti, Costa Rican zebra. Not even close to showing adult colors on top, but underneath she does have the trademark Somani orange, and she has orange spinnerets, which is awesome. Next up, we have Mystery, the Poecilotheria Fasciatum, Costa Rican tiger rump, the one that never shows up on camera because she doesn't eat. She shows up for molts though. She's getting pretty big now. Kamatz, LP, Lacerdoria perialbana, salmon pink bird eater. This one's growing like a weed. Bought this one as a 1/4 inch less than a year ago, and she's 3 inches now. Earthwalker, Acanthoscurria insubtilis, the Choco Mousy Brown. Finally molted. It's been in pre-molt for a long time, and it finally lost all her skittishness that she possessed. Maybe she'll be featured more now. Back to the pokies. Prometheus, Poecilotheria ornata, the fringed ornamental. This is my second favorite species of pokie in the hobby, besides the P. metallica. Could not get a clear shot of her. She is the more elusive of all my teas, is this ornata. I hardly ever see her. Argos, Nonducarapenensis, the Brazilian red. Finally molted. Has been in pre-molt for maybe a month now, and gained considerable size, almost doubled in size, around 2 inches now. And the surprise molt is Olympus, Paraphysa scrophora Chilean copper. If you follow my vids, you'll know that she molted 2 months ago, and check this one out, and this is a male, most likely. I mean, for what I can see, it's a male. When it gets bigger, I can probably check a little better, but his growth rate has been off the chart. Long legs, with a slender abdomen, big carapace. It looks like a male, and kind of been suspecting with his growth rate, because this thing is growing way too fast for a Paraphysa. But that's alright though. I mean, I love these species. I would like to get another score for some time. Waiting patiently forever, it seemed, for pokies to finally eat on camera. Many of my teas in pre-molt or post-molt who could not eat on camera. No shows on camera, and to top it all off, almost 50 of my crickets escaped after I knocked over their keeper in an accident. I managed to recapture nearly all of the crickets, and my teas did eat, but what a nightmare. Into the feedings now. Fire, Brachypelma vagans, the Mexican red rump. This tea has been featured a lot here lately with her molds, and whoa. That's a hit. Like I was saying, this tea has been featured a lot here lately with the mold, and not been able to sex her properly. Everyone's kind of come to the conclusion that this is in fact a female. And now that she's bulking up a little more, she definitely looks more like a female to me now than she does a male. She still has pretty long legs for a female, but she's kind of, now that when she first molted, she was so skinny, she really looked like a male, but now she's starting to bulk up a bit. And with the growth rate, I was looking at my other brackies, she's a female, hopefully. Indiana, the Poecilotheria Fasciata, the Sri Lankan ornamental again here. This is 7 days after, so don't think I'm feeding her the same day. As you saw on the molt there, any teas you see that molt in my videos and then you see them feeding, it's always time lapse. These tarantula clouds are filmed over the course of 2 weeks. And this is her first meal after molting. A lot of people ask me how come I don't feature any of my pokies, and the reason why I don't is because of my setups. I don't really like the arboreal setups, and they usually go to the back, and I really want them to do that because the light doesn't mess with them, and I can film them anytime I want. I can just turn around. I see them all the time like this. I give them plenty of room, even in slings, to make sure that they're able to walk around and kind of build the environment that they want to build in and not be stuck in. I'm not a huge fan of pill jars, and I try to give them a little bit more room, even with my avics. I like for them to be able to move around. I've never had a single problem with any of my pokies in these mini critter keepers set up in arboreal style. The only thing, when they're that small, you obviously cannot see them. That's the only thing you're going to be missing. But now that they're getting bigger, it does pay off because the way they build their enclosures, they're happy. I can feed them by just opening up that lid and throwing the cricket in there and then watching them eat. Have plenty of room. I don't have to worry about them running out because they always run to the back. Watering is very easy because they just run to the back. Never had any mold problems because I just soaked the substrate in the moss. I like these setups, but only drawback is that you don't get to see them eat as often because they're so lightning fast that if you don't catch it, you'll be trying to feed them and then run around and try to catch them on the other side. So sometimes it puts a little added stress on them to be trying to mess with them and trying to coax them into eating. So I usually just put the cricket in there and let them eat it when they want to eat it. So that's why you don't see my pokies on camera a lot. But hopefully now that they're getting bigger, you'll see them a lot more. Takes a little patience to and the right setup to try to film these things when you put them in that kind of enclosure. Venus, Stromatopelma Calceatum, the desert/Mexican blonde. She's a perennial tarantula cloud favorite here. I get a lot of compliments on this lady, and she's been doing great. She was aggressive for a while, but now she's back to being my little sweetie. Next up, we have Whisper, Grammostola Rosea, the Chilean Rose, another one of my little sweet teas. This is the smallest of my G Roseas, of my two Rosea females anyway. I have two Rosea females and two mature male Chilean Roses. So this one I believe she was wild caught. I actually saved her out of a pet store. She was really not doing well in the store. I had seen her in there for over a month, and I just decided to get her because the people keeping her weren't taking care of her properly. So she's a future breeding project candidate. Eclipse, Brachypalma albopilosum, the Honduran curly hair, one of my favorite teas in my collection. This tea is awesome. I was talking to my buddy Guitar Guy 1031, and he asked if I handled this one. A lot of people ask me that. I do not handle my curly hair because she has a little bit of an attitude, and she's not skittish. She just does not like to be messed with at all. She eats very well. She's not bad. I mean, I can let her out and she'll walk around and do her thing, but she does not like people touching her or messing with her at all. So, no, I do not handle this curly hair, but she is absolutely gorgeous. What a beautiful curly hair this one is. I'm really happy I got this tarantula. Genesis, Psalmopoeus cambridgei, Trinidad chevron. One of my teas here, like my vagans, have been throwing me for a loop with her sexing. This is a confirmed female finally. For over half a year I thought this was a male. But she is in fact female, and I'm very happy about that. Even though when she was a male I wasn't unhappy with it. I had plans for her as a male. But obviously those plans had to be thrown out. This is a 100% confirmed female now. And she's beautiful. She's actually really, really mellowed out. I'm really shocked how much this tea is mellowed out from when she was a 3-inch mark. She's around 6 inches now. when she was around 3 inches, she was a mess to deal with. She was very, very hard tarantula to do maintenance in with the enclosure and do anything with her. She was just a nightmare. Caesar, Stromatopelma Calceatum, featherlight baboon. We haven't seen this tea in a long time. She went through a long pre-molt, and the way she has her enclosure here, she's due for a rehouse soon. Let's see. I mean, it was really hard to film her doing anything. You can't see anything in there. I got lucky with this one. I had to sit here for about 20 minutes before she actually ate. She kind of teased the cricket a little bit, and I was determined after staying there for more than 5 minutes that I was going to capture this attack. So that's why I call this feeding portion a nightmare. Almost all these tarantulas that you see, the pokies, this one here, feeding all these teas take over 3 hours. That's the longest I've ever taken to feed all my tarantulas, and I have 45 tarantulas and 2 scorpions. So I did the dirty work. Andromeda nonduchromatis, Brazilian white striped bird eater. Just put it on repeat and put it in every cloud. It's the same attack every single time. Nothing ever changes with this one. She's probably the most consistent of all my teas as far as her eating. Queen, Grammostola rosea, the Chilean rose. This is another one that I had to wait to eat. I really wanted to feature her because I haven't featured her in a long time. Those of you who watch my vids, you know that this is my favorite tarantula in my collection because she was my first tarantula. And she's in a 10-gallon tank. Not a big eater, as you can see there. She likes large crickets. And she'll take down her worms occasionally. She prefers crickets, and she is looking really, really great. She's the one I mated with Perseus, my mature male, and she's showing signs that she might in fact be getting ready to produce a sack. So I'm a little happy about that. That I'm really monitoring her, and hopefully I do get a sack out of this one. She's one of my favorites. I got to get a sack out of this one one day. Willow, Pamphobedius fortis, a Colombian brown. One of my newbies in my collection, and this one is just a beast when it comes to eating. She's not really that greedy for her size. I mean, for a Pampho, she's not really that greedy, but you know, if I put another worm in there, she probably wouldn't eat it. She can be greedy at times, but for the most part, I mean, she was a little hungry when I first got her because I think they weren't feeding her enough at the pet store. But now that she's kind of gotten her fill, she's mellowed out. And Ocean Storm, Chromatopelma pubescens, the green bottle blue. A little quick attack from this one. Another tea that's hard to film sometimes because of all the webs. It's hard to really get a good shot of this one. But she always eats. Marzeris, Thrixopelma Ockerti, the Peru flame rump. This tea has been getting a lot of exposure on my vids lately. She's an awesome eater. And one of the reasons why I really love this tea is she used to be extremely bipolar. Now she's just really bipolar, if that makes any sense. She kind of mellowed out a bit after this past molt she had. She's really starting to turn into a little bit of a different tea. She's pretty big now. She's around 3.5 inches, close to 4 inches now. Bought her just about a year ago. I think she was around 1.5 inches when I got her, maybe 2 inches. And this tea is one of, like my Grammostola Maule and my Paraphysiotha species unknown. Some of my other teas that people ask about a lot. People always ask about this tarantula. She is got probably one of the most unique personalities in my collection. She can be very unpredictable. But as I said here, she's been a little more predictable lately now that she's gotten out of, she's molted. She doesn't seem to be so skittish anymore. I haven't seen her do that run around the enclosure racetrack thing that she does when I even walk into the room. I can hear her immediately as soon as I turn on the light or walk into the room. She'll just start running. She doesn't do that anymore. I can water her enclosure without her trying to run out. She used to run out of the enclosure all the time, especially when she was young. I had to be really, really careful when dealing with her. She's been in this same enclosure since I got her. a year ago. I had to put in something big because she would run every single time I put something in there. And she's growing into this. One more molt and she'll be out of here into a bigger enclosure. Shouldn't get too much bigger than that though. Cotton Candy, Grammostola Maule, Chilling Gold Fluff. This tea has gotten so much attention here the last couple of weeks. I mean, everybody's been asking about this tarantula, and quite frankly, hopefully I can get another one in the future because I don't know if I'd ever be able to breed this tarantula. I don't know if I'd ever be able to link up, a male with this one. If I ever found a mature male, I definitely will buy it to try to mate him. But yeah, for all you guys out there, I'll put links up for this tarantula. I did a tea spotlight on this one, so you can check out more information about her on that one. Rogue, Acanthoscurria chacuana, Bolivian Salmon Pink. And that's my lady. This is one of my favorite tarantulas in my collection. She's really been growing on me the last couple months here. She has a really great personality for Acanthoscurria. She's really greedy, but she's not a hair kicker like my Gina Colada. She's, she kind of just does her thing in there. She doesn't mind. I mean, I can almost handle her sometimes. She's a lot more docile than my Gina Colada is. I would never try to handle Rogue. I don't really handle my teas at all, period, unless I have to or just for demonstration purposes. But this one's actually a pretty good tea. The hairs don't bother me at all on this one, unlike the Gina Colada, whose hairs give me the most trouble out of my collection. The Gina Colada and the Fortis give me the most trouble. This one's actually turned into a very beautiful lady. Next up, we have Phantom, Poecilotheria Striata, Mysore Ornamental. Ditto, everything I said about the Fasciatum applies to this one. As you can see, they almost look identical with their setups and what they do when they go back to the back and kind of make their tunneling in the back, and they keep all their moss and everything up in the front, and they do well like that. This Striata molted a little while ago, and she probably around the same, little under the maybe 3 inches. She's probably around 2.5 inches right now. Scarlet, Acanthoscurria geniculata, Brazilian giant white knee. Like my Nandu, you can put on repeat and put in every video. She eats the exact same way every time. But when I see those hairs, I automatically feel like my body is starting to itch because they give me so much trouble, and they're everywhere in there because she climbs everywhere, and they're in the lid. They're everywhere, and as soon as I open up the lid, I can feel it. Raven, Formitibus Cancerites, Haitian brown bird eater. This one is starting her pre-molt. Ooh, she's not in deep pre-molt yet, but when she goes into it, she won't be featured on these videos probably for close to 2 months, because when she goes into her pre-molt, she does not eat at all, and she hides on her hide. She webs it up. I have to end up occasionally going and open it up to see if she's okay, or if she's molted or not. I mean, when she goes into her deep pre-molt, she really just puts it on lockdown, and she does not come out, and she'll be in that hole in there in her little hide close to 2 months probably. Trinity, Poecilotheria Subfusca Highland, the ivory ornamental. Another one of my pokies who doesn't get featured a lot. This one eats better than any of my other ones. As you can see there, this one's amazing. The only problem is she's just not big enough yet for me to really be able to film her out in the open all the time. But she actually gets more film time than any of my pokies for eating, because she is just so vicious, and she's not shy about eating at all. Very greedy. She's the most greedy of all my pokies. Really love this tea. And finally, we have Phoenix, the Brachypelma Emilia, Mexican painted redleg. Last tea featured in tea cloud number 15. And this is my sweet little lady. If you like brackies, if you don't have one of these, I highly recommend you invest in them. The price on them are actually starting to go down, I'm noticing. So they're a lot more affordable than they used to be. So check out the prices online and see if you can get you one of these if you don't have one. They're really awesome. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate all you guys watching, and you can find me on Facebook at Tarantula Deal of the Night. And make sure you subscribe, comment, and like. And I'll do it for T-Cloud number 15. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Take care.